Ja, ist sehr gut. Weg mit euch. Den braucht man hier nicht. Bla bla bla.
Ja, die blöde Quatsche, mal. Nee. Aber naja, okay. Und wird dann mal wieder ein Dings hier, Schlafzimmer. Ja, mich interessiert das ja nicht. Dass sie immer so viel da quatschen, Mikey, nur, wa? Anstatt sie mal was zeigen.
Ja, meistens
Die quatschen mehr, als wie sie was zeigen.
Ist halt leider so.
Nicht.
Irgendwie müssen sie ja das ganz lang halten.
Ja.
Wie sich das denn auch bloß viel anfühlt.
I think we're going to be seeing most of it, just being able to pull, you know, all the trash they can into bosses to be able to. That's why you want to start seeing this.
Alter! Hallo! Ey, 18 Minuten, ey. Ja, verarschen.
Pretty straightforward boss here. Yeah, so there's a blood bolt that's constantly cast on the tank. You want to interrupt it as frequently as possible. Does quite a bit of damage. We see the bloodlust come out for both teams right away on the side. Now she will spawn a blood mirror at some point, so you have double of those blood bolts to deal with, making sure the tank doesn't take too heavy damage. So you're gonna have to well coordinate the interrupts between your teams. Yeah, but you're seeing here to do an excellent job. Both teams getting them very, very low, because like we said, we are on that fortified aphid, so just as Bloodlust is going to be falling off here, both teams are just annihilating the Axa. Free Marcy getting it a little bit faster, but both teams actually neck and neck right now. I mean, they just melted. They go right down the ramp here. Now, we have a couple of ways to go here. We can either go in front with the Maggot and, of course, the Ticks, which do a ton of tank damage and explode on the group for quite a lot of damage. I know regular groups only run Jack frequently die because he won't heal us, but they do a massive pull here. Free Marcy on the right-hand side and just AoE everything down. There's a lot of casts going on here, a lot of dangerous things. You got to make sure you interrupt those lashers. If you do not have the disease this spell, you will have somebody get stunned in there until they're healed through. Thankfully, both Priest and Monk Healers do have a disease spell available to both of them, but not to be outdone. Excels Angels doing the same sort of strategy available to them. Brass dropping extremely low here, but he's got tons of room power to be able to get stuff topped off. Just making sure he's able to kite away and drop his stacks there as they're going into it. But fantastic interrupts here, and it's always nice to be able to lean on that extra disease dispel in case one is able to go through. Now, Jack, something we have to mention, and you know, there's kind of some MVP affixes that we've seen from Legion moving into BFA, and Grievous is one of them. Those stacks are much harder to heal up as a tank. You can see Breath has been sitting in that 5 stack for the entire game. Yeah, you were seeing him actually getting hit by the Breath there. Very good for him to be able to get out as rapidly as possible, and that's also what has to happen when you're playing with this. You are able to pump out a very large amount of damage, especially on the target, but when you start doing these larger pulls,
Gabel haben Sie einen blauen Kuchen oder ohne? Ah?
Ich brauche keine Gabel.
Und du, Sonja?
You just have to balance out everybody dealing with the Grievous here. So I mean, right now the race has to be able to balance out Arrow, Wrath, and himself clearing out those 5 stacks.
Du, Mike, brauchst du eine Gabel?
From Excels on the left hand of the screen. A lot of interrupts here, and of course you do have those Bloodseekers. I don't think they pulled one here yet, but those Bloodseekers are deadly. They will take a non-tank player and just tremendous amounts of melee damage. So something you want to keep an eye on the interrupt. Of course, they do have that Sonic Scream as well that will interrupt spellcasters. They stun everything together. You can see the tanks are well kiting, moving around, making sure that none of these mobs are in that same group.
Der erste Boss ist schon weg, hab ich mitgekriegt. Schön, wenn du das doch mal wieder hier richten gerade, ey.
Blink away, or you just start sprinting away from them, they immediately charge you. If you're not too far out, about 10 yards away, they won't charge you quite yet, and you can stay shielded. You see the sap coming over on the side for Excel's Angels with that infested maggot. You want to make sure they move away from it so that it doesn't heal any of the mobs here. They'll be dealing later with it. They grab another sap here. Now, a double Stormer pull here is really dangerous. That's a lot of damage. You can see them kiting around in circles, but it's so hard to get all that effective damage on them if you don't sit here in the mid. Yeah, and especially since you're getting double fixated here. The cast did go off from the Bloodstormer, and Divine Field goes down here. They do not have any battle res left available to them, and that's just a disaster situation they just can't have. They do have one battle res, but I don't think they're going to take it. So, I mean, just at this point, it's just going to be a full wipe. Luckily for them, they do have double rogue. They'll be able to release and free mass stealth right away and get back to everybody. Free Marcy has done a bit of a smaller pull, a bit more reserved. Now, I think they did have to use quite a lot of resources on the previous large pull, so they're taking it a bit easier right now. But Excelsior is falling pretty far behind here. We were just talking about that, Jack. Those Bloodstorm are so dangerous. Somebody missed their interrupt on the cast, and that's all she wrote. And when you're always counting on it and having that strong execution, you know, a lot of times as a healer, you will just be free casting anytime that you see, you know, the Bloodstormer cast going off, for example. So at that point, you're just counting on that interrupt to happen, and it shuts down the healing and locks them out of their spell school, and you're not able to do anything to be able to keep Divine alive. Free Marcy just chewing through this trash. You can see, of course, the second boss, Pragma, feasting in the middle of the room on one of those maggots. They will be pulling all of the trash in the room. We'll talk about the boss mechanics a bit later, but he will tantrum around the room, so you want to make sure this entire room is clear of any trash because he will proximity aggro them. And they're always very important to be able to watch out for those as well. You know, like we were mentioned, they're counting on being able to kill Pragma as fast as possible, but if they start getting the tantrum and start moving into those other mobs, it's going to be such a disaster situation if it happens. They run through and pull some of these infested mobs together. Now, we did mention earlier that it's important to know these infested mobs do not heal each other, so you can see through them on the different edges and bring them all together. Yeah, you see 5 infested mobs coming in all together here. It's so easy for them to be able to deal with all at once, no healing going out from any of them. And then from there, they just need to make sure they're taking advantage of the mage slows, keeping any of those Gahoonies from getting into the other infested mobs. Yes, the Gahoonies, the official term, of course, Divine Nagura. Making sure, now we do have the Sanguine coming down in just a moment. They do kill that Bloodstormer first. We know how dangerous it is. They make sure to move right out of that Sanguine, which of course, just to refresh everyone's memories, does do damage to players if you stand in the pool, but will also heal enemies if they're left in the pool. So you can see this kind of slow fighting mentality from the tanks constantly as they move through. We do get a here there from Zero, making sure to help some of those interrupts, to get lashers, make sure none of the lashers cast and stun any of the players. Yeah, it's always great, especially when you have to deal with Maggot, for example, and everybody has to make sure they're not able to use it, so they don't have to be moving away from any press. Just being able to take stuns, fears makes it so much easier to be able to count on and rely on. Now, the spawns move really quickly. We should mention is it's really important that you get some CC and you get some stuns, get some slows, grips, or really useful punts. You want to make sure that they don't reach any of the mobs, and they have a pretty big aggro radius. I think it's 50 or 60 yards, something like that. Now, you can't pull them far away enough from the trash to make sure that they actually just aggro the tank. After that, and don't do really anything except melee the tank for quite a bit of damage. Marcy now cleaning up the rest of the trash. They have one more CC on the side, and then we're preparing to pull prep. You see in here, just free Marcy cleaning up the rest of the trash in the room. They used to still have about 3.5 minutes before Bloodlust is left available to them, whether or not they want to be able to use it on Pragma or not. Yeah, a lot of times just clearing out the rest of this room here, but Excel's Angels has more ground to make up, and they really need to be able to do something quick to be able to make those mistakes. We do see a lot of the trash coming in. That's just dealing so well with it. Excel's Angels has returned back. They're chewing through the trash as well. Jack, as you mentioned earlier, this is really the majority of the trash in this dungeon. Probably some of the most dangerous. After this, the pulls will be a bit lighter, just making sure to get some of the proper interrupts as well. Free Marcy finishing off the rest of the trash now, struggling again to heal through those Grievous stacks. Wrath is just sitting at 5 stacks the entire. Yeah, and at that point, you're able to take advantage of Fish Feast. You're able to, a lot of times it is Disc, for example, you get into these kind of sustaining patterns where you're able to heal through any of the Grievous damage, but you're not topping everybody off. But if it's able to actually keep on dealing that much damage, it's well worth the wait.
Alright, well, we're going to jump to a quick break here as we sort out some technical issues, but when we come back, more Mythic Dungeon Invitational All-Stars at Blizzcon.
Was war das denn jetzt?
Warte.
Oh. Hey, wieso ist das jetzt so unterbrochen einfach? Die meinen verarschen gerade? Das ist mitten im Kampf, wieso, und die machen da Unterbrechen's?
Frag mich nicht, warum.
Was sind das denn für Flachköpfe? Macht den irgendwie einen Knall, ey? Ey, ihr spinnt doch echt hier am Boden, ey.
Warte mal.
Wie geht's im Gehirn irgendwie?
War das ganz weg?
Ja, ist es mitten in deinem Kampf aus, wird unterbrochen mal für einige Minuten mal. Macht mich doch echt lausen, ey.
A lot of time with these teams from Asia Pacific. Important due to this.
Ich hab jetzt irgendwie nicht verstanden gerade. Wieso jetzt schon wieder? Was ist denn jetzt los? War da
Ahnung, ich hab das nicht mitbekommen.
War da jetzt irgendwie was? Machen die den ganzen Scheiß nochmal, ey. Können doch alle nichts richtig machen, ey. Nichts klappt doch bei dir nochmal ordentlich,
Wir
ey.
können alles, nur nichts richtig.
Like I said, there's 3 melee more or less on the side of Excel's Angels whenever you're going to have Cyrano just getting into melee to be able to pump out as much damage as possible. So positioning is always going to be really key, especially when you're going to be having to deal with any of the larger packs.
Haben Sie das schon gesehen? Das war ab Montag hier.
Death over on Excel's side. They don't use the battle res. Good on them there. The boss was just about to fall. Getting that res up, making sure not to lose. Of course, both teams did mass stealth that early
Schön,
crash, which most
wenn dich das interessiert. Hansi. Da musst du Moneten nehmen, dann hol ich.
So, ich hab mal nackt meine Tasche gefasst.
Das ist ja auch gut, ne? Für Kuchen oder so, die weg hier sind. Das hier Hase, wa? Was?
Der Wunschpunsch.
Das ist zum Backen. Das hier auch. Zeug hier.
Oh, die Angels haben schon einen tot. Hätten da nicht aufgepasst.
Ja. Ab Montag. Wer ist denn gerade? Heute ist Dienstag, oder? Schöne Weihnachtssachen. Süße. Von Merci. Kämpfe, Lichterkette. Wäre ja nicht mal so verkehrt, wisst ihr? Neue.
Das kriegt jetzt fast 1,5 Stunden eigentlich.
Das ist schon Weihnachtsmarkt. Teuer.
Quatsch noch.
50 Euro.
Vielleicht sollte die Blizzard mal sich das so unterteilen, dass man auch direkt zu den Kämpfen geht, ey. Ja, geht nur noch ein Sachen, ey, sowas, das Gequatsche zwischendurch, ey.
Ja?
Wenn er weit kommt, weil wir das kommen.
Du würdest doch denn das nicht kaufen, weil 50 Euro habe.
Ich bin ja mal der
Ja, sagt er immer, 50 Euro ist zu viel. Aber das wäre schön gewesen hier. Einer von denen hier.
Ja, ist ja gut, Mali. Du musst da Nummer 1 gehen und dann gehen wir los.
Was?
Du musst da nur anziehen und dann gehen wir los.
Heute.
Ideal war.
Husch, husch. Husch, husch die Waldfee.
Jetzt finde ich. Guck mal. Bitte schon nicht.
Aber du hast doch wenigstens Auslauf.
Ja, bin ich ein Hund oder was? Also mal.
Also, das war jetzt eben aus, ey. Hast ja wenigstens aus.
Du doch kein Hund, du Blödmann, Mann. Ja, jetzt
Ja,
ist
der war jetzt aber.
schlicht ja 13, ey.
Ja, Johann, du. Mike.
So, nee.
Oh Mann, ey.
Soll ich noch bellen für dich?
Wuff, wuff.
Kannst du aber versuchen.
Oh Mann, ey.
The Gahoonies that spawn so that you can control them as well as possible before they run off to someone else. So make sure to rip it right back in, right into the AoE, and of course that
Geht's noch?
from the Frost.
Oh, mein Magen. Ja, was macht was hast du für diese Bewegung? Mein Gott.
kind of the last that we're going to be seeing of the trash in Kragmon's room. Being able to have a lot of open space is going to be very important when we get onto this boss fight.
Grabbing that last flower.
Ja, wenn du damit fertig bist, kannst du ja auslaufen.
Clear out the rest of the trash in here. And this is the last bullet.
Toilette ist.
Cells Angels in the previous kind of wiping them as they miss one of the interrupts, making sure to DPS everything as evenly as possible on the side. The Bloodstormer does sneak in, you see it slowed right away. They do a really good job to
Jetzt ist nur warm.
range so that the melee can both help interrupt, CC it, and of course cleave it down.
Take that extra time. You know, Zera was again taking shiny.
Gut, das sieht halt dein Narbe.
Knockback out onto the Bloodstormer there. Give himself a little bit of breathing room, and that's a lot of times what you need. Is you need just enough time to be able to get everybody topped off, be able to get all of your atonements out, be able to start dishing out that damage and ramping up.
And another cast slipped out on Excel's Angel side. We saw that Bloodstormer Sonic Screech cast go out. Everybody got quite low. It forced the Life Cocoon at the end too. So just they got forced a bunch of defensive CDs just with that misplay. Didn't get the interrupt off. Free Marcy now has moved over to Kragmaw, the infested, the second boss. Tons of damage coming in. We will see teams kind of typically tanking in the corner room here because he does charge a random player, and you want to make sure that you bait that charge into the wall so that he moves as little space as possible. We see it here right now for Free Marcy, and you want to make sure that you stop these guys that spawn on the ground because if you don't, they will turn into those ticks that we saw in the trash, dealing dot damage to the tank and of course exploding for shadow.
Yeah, it really they're doing a great job getting the boss down at 50%. Yeah, great pull coming in on the side. Cells Angels grabbing all the skeleton mobs who have all those shields up, and they're just going to be funneling that damage all the way into Kragmaw here. And like I said, you know, when you're getting the double sub rogues, you're getting so much single target damage as we've seen in previous MDIs as well.
There, yeah, they're running two rogues for a reason. We see all of that extra eviscerate damage coming in right now. We see the charge come out for Free Marcy. A lot of damage going out for Kragmaw. They're quickly catching up to Free Marcy right now. Health is just melting right now. We saw that first tantrum come out for Free Marcy. Runs all over the room, spawns a lot of those small ticks. You want to make sure you stomp them and comes back in. They bait that. Actually, they bait it, unfortunately, quite poorly. They have a lot of ground to cover right now. And Kragmaw down to 17%. They zoom right past Free Marcy. And Excel's Angels is going to take the lead here in just a moment as they down the second boss.
Yeah, Excel's Angels is really taking into the driver's seat here. Doing an excellent job because
Die Angels haben den zweiten Boss gerade gelegt.
Perfect amounts of HP to be able to
Und Free Marcy jetzt auch.
down so quickly while still dealing with the trash. So Free Marcy's not too far behind here, but once that trash starts going down, Excel will have a little bit more in terms of trash percent. And then if they're doing the same thing going on to Explorer, the third boss, it's really just going to be putting them so far ahead.
Really ambitious pull here from Free Marcy as they pull all of the skeletons in this area. Plus, as you aptly named them, the danger girls as well. A lot of interrupts that need to go out here, and of course, the Death Speakers in the middle of these skeleton packs. If they cast Wicked Frenzy successfully and you don't stun or disorient the cast, it will buff one of the Guardian skeletons that will deal massive shatter dot damage to the tank. Something that you have to watch out for. Some of the defilers they pulled in there as well. You have to make sure you interrupt for curses, move away from the totems. There's a lot going on in here.
We were seeing Excel's Angels actually going right to Spore Caller's room with all these extra skeletons here, grabbing the skeletons just like we saw out of Kragmaw here. Very risky pulls. You're seeing everyone dropping very low. They got Quaking to be able to deal with as well. Cyrano's just got to be able to get everybody topped off, get everybody stabilized. It looks like he's getting into that strong position right now. They do a great job kiting out of that spirit, making sure they're not getting the stun out on the enemy here. But it looks like with how little it cleared from a lot of these spores, leaning on Syrah to be able to use his revival once all those dots come out from the Spore Caller's AoE.
Yeah, revival is a huge get out of jail free card on this boss. Once those mushrooms explode right here during this harvest at 100 energy on the boss, they will apply a nature build to all of the players, which can easily revival off damage to the Mistweaver here. Really
Scheiße.
power of these two. Just like the DPS speeders between the two groups, they're just growing boss to boss with as much trash as they can, cleaving it down, trying to kill it all around the same time, but the rogues are just getting so much juicy damage out of this AoE into Eviscerate.
So much damage.
Incredibly powerful here. They're doing a great job now that they do not have revival here to clear out the rest of the spores, because once the AoE goes off, he does activate the AoE, which puts a single dot for every single mushroom going out. So when he had revival, he had 15 stacks on everybody. Now they're just taking their time, making sure they can clear it out.
Und wie sieht's aus bei denen?
Ja, bei den Angels sieht gut aus, die legen ja fast den dritten Boss.
of course, you can use some immunities to run through these mushrooms, making sure you delete them before the heart.
Free Marcy braucht noch ein bisschen.
Any dispels that need to be done, Sierra will be able to handle well. So
Bam.
does go down, third boss is down, and we are going to have Excel's Angels moving over towards.
Ah, die Angels könnten jetzt gewinnen.
For those watching, we do have to reach 100% trash in this dungeon before they get access to the final boss.
They're still having some of the skeletons available to them so they can start working on the Spaceless Corruptor. Just a very big, bulky mob that can take up a lot of time here, so will not be any problem at all for Excels here as they're just feeling far away and just running away with this game.
Now, Madden Engage, you want to make sure you move out of the way of it. It is a snapshot directional spell that will nuke you for a lot of shadow damage. And Divine now moving down, grabbing all of these skeletons with him, got quite the bone to pick with them. Free Marcy moving over, trying to finish off the third boss, just hitting below 20% now. So they're starting to lose a lot of ground. There is a curse going off at the top of the stairs that's really bad. That curse makes you take increased damage and deal increased damage. So something you want to be interrupting. So a lot of players have those stacks.
Also wenn die jetzt keinen Fehler machen und sonst wie viele Tode machen, könnten sie das gewinnen.
Ja, so wie die einen, ne? Tode.
We got a massive pull here. They were actually going to be popping Bloodlust, making sure that they're going to be able to get through all of the trash mobs here. And they did wait on those defilers. There's actually a defiler that came before they did get that Sporecaller down. And they had UCC on it.
Marcy hat jetzt auch
with that death speaker, so
den Rücken gelegt.
that's just what's causing Divine to start running and getting away from people as much as possible. Good to see Seer getting a bit of mana left available to him, start catching up and getting some extra damage out onto these mobs. They're just looking to clean up everything here.
That Wicked Frenzy does a ton of damage, now dipping to sub 30%, 100% increased damage. That means, as you can see, Divine frantically running away from them. Bloodlust just coming off, just fading now, 2 seconds left on it. Managed to deal with the rest of them. The Frost Mage is just so essential for peeling off the tank here. No fall and runs away. Start to pull the next skeleton pack.
Ist das nicht ein bisschen zu früh?
As quickly as they can so they can start the RP to lead to the last boss. And Free Mars not giving up. They're still 5%.
Das, was auch immer du da hörst, ist ein bisschen zu früh.
Wieso?
Massive pulls coming in this final
Ja,
area.
irische Musik.
Hört sich so ein bisschen wie nach Weihnachten schon an, ey.
Aber hier.
Ja, aber sehr komische irische Musik, wenn es noch nach Weihnachten klingt.
Ist wahrscheinlich am Orchester.
Wahrscheinlich deswegen.
Na, weiter so.
Will despawn and de-aggro as they start this RP event. Ladies and gentlemen, the final boss room for Underrot, Excel's Angel.
Oh, jetzt beginnt Kopf an Kopf dran.
Both do not have access to Bloodlust. We pull right away. You want to make sure you direct this frontal from the boss away from the party because it does.
Wenn Welche nicht schneller ist, dann verlieren sie.
Tight position that you really want to see here, but at this point they just got to be able to get as much damage out onto this in this close race here.
Das ist jetzt aber ein Rennen.
Wenn wir zeitgleich bleiben, dann gewinnt Marcy.
but
Wenn
it's
wir nicht
also
wegrennen, bleiben wir in die anderen.
from the boss. So if you get caught off guard with the quaking, that does splash onto your buddies and as well to spread out free marks.
Irgendwie haben die Angels gerade so ein bisschen Probleme, kann das sein? Ah ja.
In a similar fashion, we see Excel's doing the same thing. Now, this boss, you'll notice that kind of chunks health. What happens is you actually
Primarsi hat irgendwie die bessere Formation, ey.
Ja, vorkommen.
Very good here as they're just letting the Titan Keeper that is allied to the party. Just let them kill all of the bloodlets that are going out and start using any of those to be able to get some extra cleave damage out onto the boss if possible there. And they're just letting the Titan Keeper.
Alter! Die schnitzeln den! Alter, wie schnell!
The second wave, they're trying to get the boss up to the last round of 100 energy. It will spawn the final 2 small bloods. After that, they don't have to deal with the boss anywhere. They just want to kill the bloods as quickly as possible in order to take the first game. We see the second round only just now falling for Excel's. Max single target advantage, of course, of that disc boost that you mentioned, Jack. They're dealing with the last bloods coming up in the moment, looking to seal the game in just a moment.
Yeah, they're doing a great job, like you mentioned, that positioning there. You're seeing Zera drop really low at 6% here. He's got to make sure he's watching himself. Yeah, as they're just hitting it down. Doing such an incredible job. Free Marcy here. Very impressive game 1.
We talked about it at the outset of the series. You know, we went down to
War doch irgendwie klar, wie Marcy gewinnt hat. Naja.
Tja.
Was haben die bitte schon an sich, dass diese so schnell sind?
Also bei den anderen Bossen habt ihr sich haben Zeit gelassen.
Magier, Schurke, Todesritter, Priester, Dämonenjäger. Leck mich.
Der Dämonenjäger wahrscheinlich halt Tanker.
Keine Ahnung.
Oder der Todesritter.
Ja, Replay, bla bla bla, komm.
Was war das jetzt das erste dann?
Ja, das war gerade mal das erste Ding hier, Alter.
Going up to the left side of the temple, very open concept dungeon, popping that bloodlust early. We see a huge middle pull coming out of Free Marcy. I've never seen that pack pulled before.
He really is not something you often see here, and doing a great job actually getting everything into.
Hey, Bran!
With a lot of
Das ist schon wieder ein komischer Bran.
Trash actually does give tons of percent here, and it is in that central location, so they can continue pulling more trash into it here. So I love what we're actually going to see here at Free Marcy.
So well timed from Excel's Angels, wrapping up that big pull just as Bloodlust ends. Still dealing with the trash here. Bloodlust falling off for them now. Only half HP for that kind of middle mini boss pack, but they do periodically pull some more mobs to the middle, making sure that they're effectively clearing as much as possible. A lot of damage going out though. We do have some more forgiving affixes in this Atal Dazar right now. We do have a teaming affix, which means that there's just more trash present in the dungeon, which also requires you to kill more trash to get your 100% and more volcanic jets on your field.
Not as much as I'd usually hope. But you are seeing, of course, the frenzied charge coming out from any of these dinos that will get sunned by. So positioning is always going to be a big thing, as well as being able to pace yourself with how much additional trash you're bringing into this, because you do need to have those constant interrupts in the bid and not take care of those breaches here. But very different routes coming out. A dungeon that a lot of times we always saw very consistent pulls with when you're just trying to adjust it. Watching both these teams try to go as fast as possible in these dungeons, I'd love to be able to see the variance.
These guys really want to get that +3 at the end of the dungeon. But you're right, typically we see straight to Razan, Bloodlust off the bat, but then we are in a tyrannical setting here in Atal Dazar, meaning the boss is going to be a bit harder. Free Marcy and Yeet finally jumping down on the first boss. Tyrannical setting. Now on this boss, he does have an AoE fear that you want to make sure that when it comes up, to make sure you don't get feared and knocked into some of the piles on the ground. A lot of these raptors coming up as well.
Yeah, huge damage going out of the Wrath. They actually had to pop pain suppression early here, so we're really going to see maybe barrier going down soon afterwards. Get a little bit of extra protection.
Alter, die machen schon den ersten Boss, ey.
Right now, as they're pulling all these additional raptors, get a little bit extra funnel damage for Arrow to be able to knock it into Razan there. You're seeing on the side of Excel, they did actually start skipping past a lot of trash and using their Shadow Meld to be able to get into Volkal's room here, so very different routes coming out of both sides.
Yeah, so Volkal pulled first for Excel's on the left. Free Mars is still dealing here with Razan, only down to 57% now. Now, after that AoE fear coming out of Razan, he will fixate one of the players. Sometimes it can be, as unfortunately seen a few times, and if he catches you, he will eat you periodically stun you and do a tremendous amount of damage. So you want to make sure you kite him away and then bring him back to his prior position so that you're in position for line of sight for the fear. Volcall, on the other hand, has a two-phase system. The first phase, you want to make sure that you kill all of the 3 totems in that equilateral. Oh, Jack, we talked about triangles again.
I love triangles.
In that equilateral triangle on the edges, making sure you kill them all within the 5-second cast. When they die, then you get access to Volcall, not getting healed by those totems anymore, and you want to burn them down and slowly fill the room as much as possible as you're seeing them move very slowly, because those spawns on the ground, the goop on the ground does despawn after a minute, but if you move too quickly, you're going to be backpedaling right back into it.
Yep, and they're doing a great job being able to trace up that equilateral triangle once again, and then just slow walking like we've seen previously. Slow walking their way through Volcall's room. And you are seeing, you know, for example, it does look like they're holding on to Bloodlust here, probably for another really big pull after this. But the side of Free Marcy just finishing off Razan and being able to start moving on. And we're interested to see which boss they're going to be going on to next.
I think they might have used Bloodlust at the beginning there, so it could just be an error on that aura, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. Free Marcy finally dealing with those on, moving up the stairs towards beginning the dungeon. Now, you can kill the first 3 bosses in any order you'd like, but in order to get access to the
Free Marcy
bosses,
schon
you
beim
need to kill those first 3.
zweiten?
You don't need to have 100%.
Na, die wollen jetzt beiden gleich machen.
The RP event with the 3 bosses need to die. Volcall now down to
Angels sind immer noch beim ersten.
Ey, ich weiß nicht, wie viel Marcy so schnell sein kann.
Really nasty trash back in front of the boss.
Yep, and always being able to, as we said, they did actually run it in and shadow meld off any of the extra aggro they had to deal with here. So looking at using like the Rogue Shroud, for example, to be able to get out. Everybody getting stacked up together, waiting for everyone to drop combat, any extra damage or anything like that. They are getting the Shroud of Concealment from the Rogue, putting out that paralysis out onto the shield bearer Azul, and then they're going to be able to start moving on and be able to start dealing with the rest of the mobs going in here. See Polymorph going out onto that infested mob as they kill everything else.
Yeah, nice asphyxia coming out of Divine there, just to make sure the mob doesn't move at all. But before we do have a death coming over for Free Marcy. They immediately use the battle res. Want to make sure they finish off the rest of this trash before they have a full team wipe. They need that Frost Mage up for any kiting potential for Wrath, just in case he needs a heal. Of course, some of these mobs, as we did see there, the Juggernaut do charge the range, and they can do quite a bit of damage, especially if they get some of their enraged casts off. But they are down that battle res. 5 seconds on the clock for Free Marcy as well.
Yeah, really important that they can't be making any of those additional mistakes. They are moving past that infested mob on side of Excels. They're just going to make sure they're getting the rest of these pterodactyls, little saurids, all in together, and they can start dealing with the infested whenever they want. And it's always having that control that you really want to be able to see is, you know, dealing with the infested when you absolutely have to. If you're able to use Shadow Meld, start getting rid of any of the aggro that you really have from being around or from being in combat with any of those infested. So you just ignore them, move on to a trash back to be a little bit more easy to deal with.
So these Sky Screamers, you have to keep an eye on them. They do have an AoE fear as well that needs to be interrupted. And we were keeping an eye on it. We do see, of course, that there's indeed about 4 minutes left on Bloodlust for Excel's Angels on the left. So a bit of an error with the display there. Something we'll have to see, but they do not have that Bloodlust available. We do see Cheat Death proc over on the side of Free Marcy. Not going to be available for a while for them. You have to be really careful. These trash packs are chewing through a lot of their DPS with some of the residual damage. It's costing them a lot of just externals needed and some of those defensive CDs that they might later need for these tyrannical bosses. Jack, I do want to mention as well.
Oh, Free Marcy hat einen Tod.
Hinted to, they didn't do in the end, but they have actually swapped to the DH from the second row.
Yeah, it's good to be able to see them, you know, switch up their comp and also just, you know, kind of sticking to that same sort of plan. You were seeing on the side of Free Marcy, very cool out of Zerace, using a Shackle Undead on that Shield Bearer of Zul. Whenever you start seeing the barrier that gets popped up, that starts reducing the damage taken of all the nearby mobs. If you're not having a stun available to you, you can always just put a Shackle Undead and start spamming Shackle Undead if need be to interrupt any of those Shield Bearers. And it's so useful to be able to have that kind of tool available to them. On the side of Free Marcy, you are seeing that Shroud Concealment going in as they start to seal with Volcall. It's the same thing that Excel's Angels is using.
Yeah, so we'll have to see exactly how they deal with the trash on the way out. Oftentimes the tank will just pull to the side and kind of do a death skip. Or, you know, they could use a 10-minute Invis Potion that is a bit costly for the rest of the dungeon. Razan now down to 53% for Excels on the left. As they're pulling Raptors on purpose to kind of feed some of that extra single target damage into the boss, they do kite him back into the corner, getting ready for the next AoE fear that you want to kite. The bleed does go up on Divine, makes you take increased physical damage and apply a pretty nasty dot, so the healer definitely has to keep an eye on the tank at that point.
Yeah, doing a great job being able to watch out for it, but I would like to start seeing a little bit more damage out of Zero here. If you're comparing, you know, Zerace to Seer's damage, especially if you're using the inspect function, you'll also be able to notice that, you know, Zerace, even though any of those damage functions, any of those damage Azerite traits are not increasing your atonement healing at all, it's just that huge damage boost that you're going to be able to get, and that was really one of the big factors helping Free Marcy pull ahead, and it's such a close underrot game that we saw.
Yeah, both teams are actually, it's hard to tell, of course, just sitting here keeping eye from the audience right now, but they're actually quite close together, these two teams. This second boss I see here, they'll both be heading over to that kind of left wing as you enter the dungeon, getting ready to deal with the third boss, and we know that there's a massive trash pool in that room that will pretty much make up most of the remainder, if not all of the remainder, of the trash percentage required.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen the middle pull yet out of Excel, so that might also be while they're waiting for some of the RP to move on. So Yasma's room, that can be kind of tedious and take quite a bit of time. Maybe they'll start looking at trying to handle it from there. But so you're seeing, there's many areas where they can start catching up on trash.
Razan just got going down, absolute dynamite pull from them. They move up the stairs, getting ready to pull some of the small stars. Actually, I think, yeah, they just saw this pack here. There's one of them that's infested right now, but they have such slow jump around so frequently.
Angel summoned
There are
boss.
some trash packs that it is fairly safe to pull together and just cleave it down, focus the infested, make sure the Gagoonies are stunned and CC as soon as they spawn out, and then just AoE the rest of the pack down.
Ja, haben auch ihren zweiten Boss jetzt.
Call going down on the side of Free Marcy here. You're just going to start watching as they're getting away. And you're actually seeing, instead of the death skip or anything like that on the side of the tank, you're just having air pull everything away, pop is invis, and then you're able to take care of that, no problem here. So nice way to be able to get around it without incurring any kind of extra deaths.
Yeah, so the DH, the Demon Hunter on both sides, of course, very useful for that AoE stun as soon as the Gagoonies pop, probably one of the considerations that they have when they swap from the second row to the DH in this dungeon. A lot of confess that they really can't get by too sneakily like you could in Underrod. We do see Excel's heading to the middle cooldown. First off, what is with everyone doing this pull these days? We usually don't do this on live. Most people avoid it. It is just a nasty pull. A lot of health takes a while, but it does give you a ton of percent.
Yeah, that's what they really need right now, especially in that teaming format. They need to be able to get as much percent as possible, and also just be able to continue pulling a lot of extra trash in. You'll see a lot of times you'll have these little smaller pulls that kind of keep you from going as fast as you want as going through this room. So, for example, once they get the rest of the little guys down, they're able to CC one of the SAR that they're right next to, pull the rest of the non-infested, start AoEing those down, and you start slowly kind of adding on to the pull and getting a ton of trash percentage out of it.
So you see the sound coming up on the infested from Free Marcy as they head through the middle of the room where they prior killed this pack, heading towards the third boss's room right now. Hey, if they're in the same dungeon, they can wave hi to each other because they're just basically passing each other's point right now. Excel's looking to finish off that same pull and then work towards the tunnel in the back that you see on the left there, whilst Free Marcy already heading in that direction. Pulls the entire hallway together to make sure they can disrupt the AoE fear on those pterodactyls.
Yeah, just terrific coming out of here by Free Marcy. You're really showing very clean route and having a great deal of difference coming out from rather than Excel's Angels, which has been kind of falling behind just a little bit here and there, and they really need to be able to have something very aggressive, and hopefully we're able to see something very aggressive as they're going on to Priestess.
Yeah, I mean, once again, just neck and neck here for Marcy, just slightly ahead as they wait for the fire to despawn as they safely move up the stairs. Definitely don't want to hit that Jack. You're excellent, usually displaying those on live servers. They do move up. It's really going to kind of come down to this, and of course, a lot of the single target on the last boss, but this pull coming up is crucial. It is a massive pull coming up in the third boss's room. Teams often pull it with the boss if possible as well.
Yeah, they always have to make sure they watch out for the priestesses that are on her left and right flanks here, because if they are getting pulled into the boss as well, it will bug out a little bit of the pools that do spawn from the priestess. It will make it very hard to be able to actually deal extra damage to her, and can actually make it very easy for her to heal herself up. So you are seeing on the side of Free Marcy, they're dealing with a lot of the extra mobs here. They want to start seeing if they can get all those infested together from the priestesses, kill those, and then start moving on to the boss after that.
And really clever here from Excels as they rip the infested mob from in front of the boss away, grab everything together, start aiming it down. We see the blind for the infest on the side there. Free Marcy just cleaning up the rest of the pack right now, getting ready to move to the priestess. Want to make sure you interrupt this fire and chance on that it actually almost killed Ash there. You want to make sure you interrupt that lot of AoE damage going on the ground. You're getting quite low too, but no problem. Bloodlust has been pulled for popped for Excel right now. 10 seconds left on that, and then they'll be feeding right into the boss. Free Marcy finishing up the last of their percent, and we see of course Priestess right in front of them waiting.
Yep, and the Priestess there, just again want to be able to see those kind of hard CCs going out to them if possible. Because Excel already has all of the trash percentage that they need. So for Aluza, all they have to be worried about here is maintaining the CCs onto the side mobs, onto any of those infested. Kill the spawn of gold that comes out immediately, and then they'll be able to shadow meld off and get away to the last boss.
They just don't care about the infested. They got their 100%. They just leave it CC'd on the side. They pull Priestess. They're going to kill Priestess. They're going to use those Night Elf Rachels and the banishes that they have. They're going to get out of combat and move straight to the third boss. So really cheap little play here, giving them the advantage.
Pass mal auf deinen Tank auf.
Right now ahead of Free Marcy. About 10% now, they're just chunking her down. We do know, of course, that there's a mechanic on this boss. You want to make sure you get in one of those blood pools before she does a transfusion so that you actually damage her instead of heal her, which is why you saw those massive 5% chunks going on at a time. You'll have to do, I think, 2 of them probably at this level before they're able to finish off the boss and move on to the final one.
Yeah, and because there's so much HP on a Loser when you're in a tyrannical setting here, it's so important to be able to, have proper positioning. You are seeing, for example, on the side of Excel, just Dodo standing right next to whichever pool he's going to go to. Before the transfusion goes out, everybody already has a blood pool that they picked up, and they're able to start quickly burning out her health. You seem to get choked down so quickly.
Yeah, and the advantage that the advantage rather that Excel's had is kind of gone. Free Marcy took a ton of single target damage. They're getting that ready now for their second transfusion, which unfortunately does time gate them a bit. Excels will be able to finish off Alunza in just a moment, head right down the stairs as quickly as possible and start the RP because there's a bit of a wait time before you have access to the final boss.
Yeah, at this point, 3% left for both sides here. As Free Marcy, like you said, you're just putting out so much extra damage there. You are seeing a lot of times on the side. Yeah, they did. So at this point, you're seeing neck and neck again going into the final boss here. We've seen the Shadow Mode going out on the side of Excel's Angels, getting rid of all this exhausting combat, and they're just able to sit there, wait for the fire to pass, and start moving on to Yasma.
And they're both stuck on the
waiting,
exact...
they're patient.
They're patient. They're both waiting on the exact same fire spawn, but you saw as quickly as possible when the players moved ahead to start the RP. Grabs it, open up to give you access to the final boss. Dodging the spiders on these stairs, they do hit for quite a bit of shadow damage and leave a pool on the ground. A similar mechanic that you'll see on the boss, as you see that life grip right up there, Jack. You love doing that too. They're getting ready to just dive in on the boss right now. The stairs only now accessible for Excels, and here we go. Free Marcy.
Das war unfair. Die haben da stecken geblieben. Da stecken geblieben.
So then just a huge DPS race here. As you want to see this race is pumping out as much damage as possible. I really want to see those damage Azurite traits really start pulling ahead here. Cyrano, playing a little bit more defensive as a couple healing traits enable as well. So really want to see where they're able to come from here. And you are seeing everybody stepping out for that Soul Rend. Not too far away. Quickly cleaving all of those down before they impact the boss. Divine doing a great job of kiting away. And then the extra damage you're able to funnel in with the rogue. Doing a great job.
Really well played by them here. They're on purpose keeping those mobs alive right behind the boss. Using that Frost Mage slow so that they can funnel as much single target damage through the rogue as they can into the boss and just gain as much advantage, which they already had a huge run with for having Bloodlust available for the boss. You see the boss percent difference, about 15 between the two teams right now, and it looks like Free Marcy is just going to take this right now, but they have to spawn these mobs in the middle of the room. Immediate, we see the Frost Nova go down, and they are going to once again try to feed a lot of that single target damage and passively cleave these down.
Yeah, at that point, it really is just, there's a 5-second difference from just one death, but I don't think it's going to be enough here, and Free Marcy is just destroying his boss right now.
Yeah, I mean, they will likely have access to 2 mid CDs at about 20-30% on the boss, so we'll see a big burst of damage coming out of both sides right now. Free Marcy, you can see he's pulling even further ahead. They likely have access to some more CDs right now, about 20% difference between the two teams. But they're starting to once again close it just a bit Excels as they start to pop up too, doing a similar strategy as they kite those images close to the boss, getting as much single target as they can.
Yeah, right here you're seeing 18% coming up on the side of Free Marcy. They're really getting backed into a corner. They have to watch out for a lot of these little spiders as they're just fogging up the rest of them. You see a couple of little attacks here and there to be able to start dealing with it. Like the rogue, for example, who can just cloak and start running.
Wie schlecht ist Free Marcy?
Free Marcy now 5% left onto Yasma. All trash taken care of.
Warum machen die mehr Damage als die anderen, ey?
Not going to be enough here as Free Marcy takes it 2-0.
Das ist doch irgendwie... Wollt ihr einfach verarschen, ne? Ey, obwohl die 5 Sekunden Rückladen... Ey, gewinnen die das trotzdem noch. Das kann nicht sein, ne? Das ist ein bisschen koscher irgendwie, finde ich. Obwohl die Formation von beiden ziemlich ähnlich ist, nur der Heiler ist anders. Kann ja aber jetzt ja irgendwas nicht stimmen, ey. Prangere ich jetzt an.